நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெழிலொழுகும் சீராறும் மதனமென நிகழ்வரத கண்டனில் தெக்கணமும் அதில் சிறந்த திராவிடனன் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு திரை நுதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழடங்கே தமிழடங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறம்பியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
Thank you. You may be seated now, and we are extremely sorry for what is happening because there's a lot of technical issues we are facing since morning, and we thank you for your patience. And then we couldn't have pulled off this event without the inspiring leadership of our beloved Principal Dr. Gauri Ramesh. I request you, ma'am, to welcome the dignitaries and our guests.
Thank you, Hepsi. I welcome all the respected dignitaries, faculty members, and the representatives of International Justice Mission and my dear students. A very good morning to one and all present here in this virtual event. This lockdown might seem to be stressful for many, but as the principal of Chennai Dr. Ambedkar Government Law College, Pudupakkam, I would say that these are the best days of my career as this college is touching greater heights. I had the privilege of attending one of the webinars conducted by the IJM, and our chief guest today was one of the speakers. Within a short span of time, I grabbed a lot of information about human trafficking and the people who are trying to reach us all around us for help. Now imagine for a minute a life where a human body is being exploited and the screens are all around us. But the sad part is we are deaf to all those screens. This is mainly due to lack of awareness on, firstly, what exactly falls under human trafficking. Secondly, how do I help someone suffering? Thirdly, is it safe for me to work in the field of anti-human trafficking? And fourthly, is there a process in the government set up to combat such trafficking in this society? Now, being a law school, it is quite imperative that the students should learn to practically apply the knowledge they have gained about human rights and criminal laws. So when we heard about Anti-Human Trafficking Club launched by the IJM in different colleges, we approached them for such an initiative to be organized in our government law college also. I wholeheartedly thank Dr. Devasita Mani, who is the Associate Director, Strategic Development at the IJM, for accepting our request and guiding us from the day of our first conversation till today towards a smooth launch of this Anti-Human Trafficking Club. I would like to thank our chief guest, Dr. P.M. Nair, for consenting to be a part of this landmark occasion. Sir will be joining shortly because of due to certain technical snag. Now, he's a retired IPS officer and the United Nations recognized expert of anti-human trafficking. Now, he's not just a campaigner, but by starting with the rescue of 113 children from bonded labor in the year 1982, he has facilitated the rescue of more than 50,000 persons. Now, Dr. Nair set up the first 9 anti-human trafficking units in the country in the year 2007. It is a great privilege to have you in our midst, sir. I take this opportunity, sir, to also invite you to our college in person after our college returns to normalcy. Now, though as we as a college come up with many initiatives, all of which are first of its kind, we always receive full support and guidance from none other than our beloved, respected Director of Legal Studies, Professor Dr. N.S. Santosh Kumar, sir. Our Pudupakkam Government Law College is always indebted to you, sir, for all the appreciations and encouragements we have received so far. With your guidance, we are moving forward with the Anti-Human Trafficking Club. And I can assure you, sir, that our students will be a great support system in our mechanism in combating the evil across Tamil Nadu. Once again, I invite you, sir. We all have heard, we all have heard of silence is golden, but that is not the case always. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Human trafficking matters to Chennai Dr. Ambedkar Government Law College, Pudupakkam, and I, as the principal, along with my strong-willed faculty members and my energetic students, vow to support IJM's efforts and initiatives in wiping out this menace from our society. I once again thank my team members, Mrs. Rekha, Mr. Arogyam, Mrs. Kritika, Mrs. Vijayshri, Mrs. Hepzibah Beulah, and Mr. Shyam Sundar for the meticulous planning of this event. Thank you one and all, and I welcome you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Indeed, human trafficking matters to our college. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and we have taken it today. Now I request Professor Arogyam to deliver the introductory remarks and the significance of this event. Over to you, sir.
Pleasant good morning to all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's indeed a very privilege, and I am pleasured to be with a very great many people. The saying goes, be great or be with the great. And I'm happy that I am with the great people, like our director. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to our director of legal studies, Professor Dr. N.S. Santosh Kumar, sir, because I'm happy to be under him. And I always think of him as a man of action. And he is an innovative and renovative director. I say he is innovative because he introduces many innovative things in the legal educations. And he is renovative. I say he is renovative. He is a man of orthodox. And he always wants to preserve the ethos of legal studies. Therefore, he always preserves by renovating the old good things of his predecessor according to the times, with innovative renovations. Therefore, I call him an innovative, renovative director. Thank you, sir, for your presence and your blessings. And of course, our principal, Professor Dr. Gauri Ramesh, a very lovable, accommodative, and appreciative principal. I say accommodative, she always tried to accommodate everyone in a pool. And she always appreciates us. Whatever we say, if something is good for the education and system, she appreciates us. That's how we grow. United we grow and we achieve. Thank you, madam, for allowing me to be a part of this committee and club. And the third one is Dr. Devasitam, Associate Director of International Justice Mission India. Sir, I have heard about you from Hepzibah, one of the instruments for this organizing. You are a visionary. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry for interruption.
Yeah.
I also thank Dr. Devasitam for giving this opportunity to open anti-human trafficking club in our college, sir. And of course, the PM Iyer is acclaimed human rights activist, Thank you, sir, for your presence to make this event very useful and I also thank, of course, my நெஞ்சிற்கினிய மாணவ நண்பர்கள் அனைவருக்கும் என்னுடைய வணக்கம். I'm so happy for all the students, friends, for readily responded to join in numbers as members of this club. We are happy for you, friends, because without you, this club will not work properly. The purpose of Anti-Human Trafficking Club is very unique and legal. I would say it is very unique and legal because human trafficking is an illegal trade, an illegal human trade, maybe a commercial or sexual exploitation. Therefore, the Anti-Human Trafficking Club in our college has many purpose, manifold purpose. First of all, the purpose of this is, as a student, as a lawyer, we are all social engineers. Social engineers, of course, must model the society in a human way. Anything unhuman is human trafficking. Therefore, in a human trafficking, we need to identify the vulnerable sections of the society. Yes, friends, the vulnerable society of this society is poverty. The poverty-stricken poor people are the one who are exploited commercially. And of course, domestic working women. And after Japanese pornography, the child sexual trafficking has come up in a heavy. Therefore, we need to identify the vulnerable sections, that is poor, women, that is working class, domestic working women, and female child who are traded in sexual exploitation. Therefore, we need to identify. Then, of course, as a law students, we need to sensitize their rights. Article 23, right against human exploitation, that gives us a great right against human trafficking. Therefore, we need to sensitize the people who are vulnerable, who succumb to such kind of human trafficking by teaching them, by giving them the laws available. Of course, Article 23 has brought in many legislations. The Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956 and the Bond Labor System Abolition Act 1976. Of course, recently Domestic Violence Act, POCSO Act. All this act is offshoot of constitutional guarantee, their fundamental rights. So we need to sensitize them. I will close, and I have, as a student, as a club, I have modeled a formula P2 R2 for this club. Of course, you can add up. I say P2 as a mission, preventing human trafficking. As a lawyer, as a law student, we should support in prosecution of offenders. I call it as P2. Then R2, we need to rescue the bonded laborers or human trafficking affected person. Rescuing, then rehabilitating. So the main aim of Anti-Human Trafficking Club of our college is to prevent, prosecute, rescue, and rehabilitate. So united, we work for it. And Hepzibah will have lot of program on this, and she will be able to tell you. And Dr. Devasitham is ready to share his experience with all these inputs. We as a law faculty and as a students, with the guidance of our director and with our principal's support, we will exclaim and we will do an excellent work by using this human club, Anti-Human Trafficking Club. Of course, to end with, I must thank our launch coordinators, Assistant Professor Rega, and Hepzibah, who is an architect and who is very instrumental for this, and Professor Kritiha, Vijayshri, and my friend Shyam Sundar, And thank you, everyone. I'm thankful to our director and principal for giving this opportunity. Thank you. Success.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. It was a lovely speech as usual. And thank you for the new theory, P2R2. Maybe we can use it as a tagline now. Now I welcome Nair, sir, who's here. We're very sorry, sir, for all the technical issues that you faced today.
Thank you. Namaste. Namaste to all of you. Vanakkam. 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 Vanakkam.
Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir.
I'm so sorry for the delay. Apologies for that.
No, not at all, sir.
No, you are welcome to our
welcome, sir.
Yeah, but it was a enterprising work with the system for half an hour, and suddenly I found something came up somewhere and could manage. Thank you so much for waiting there. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So now it's time for me to introduce the Associate Director of International Justice Mission, Dr. Devasitham Mani, to enlighten us on the need for an anti-human trafficking club and the contribution of the youth in combating this evil. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Very good morning to all of you. Respected Professor Dr. N.S. Santosh Kumar, sir, the Director of Legal Studies. Respected Dr. P.M. Nair, sir, former head NDRF and UN recognized expert on human trafficking. Respected Professor Dr. Gauri Ramesh, ma'am, Principal of the college, and Professor Epsiba Beulah, ma'am, and all the professors who's been a key instrument in launching this anti-human trafficking club today, technical team, and my colleagues from International Justice Mission, greetings to you all. Personally, I consider this as a great privilege to deliver the keynote address today among this eminent guests and also in the August gathering. I have two reasons why I feel it's a privilege. The first reason is Dr. P.M. Nair, sir. He's my inspiration. He's also one of my role models in the field of combating human trafficking. And I admire the way that he gets every single opportunity to sensitize every youth in the country to combat human trafficking. And I learned a lot from you, sir. And the second reason is Professor Dr. S.N. Santosh Kumar, sir. I met him only once in his office, along with my colleague, Mr. Richard Ebenezer, sir. But I heard a lot about him, because Richard never stopped talking about him, all the things that he has did in the college, and all the things that he's trying to get to the students so that their learning can enhance. So that's why I feel very privileged to share this keynote address. Thank you, sir. With both of your permission, I proceed with my address. And I also wanted to thank, before I begin my speech, I would like to thank Professor Dr. Gauri Ramesh, ma'am, the principal of the college, and Professor Epsiba, ma'am, for putting together this wonderful launch of this anti-human trafficking club, despite of all this COVID-19 pandemic situations. Ma'am, let me tell you this, it is a very crucial time where several reports highlight that the cases of human trafficking might go up during this pandemic situation. As introduced, I am Dr. Devasitham, Associate Director from International Justice Mission. For the last 10 years, I've been working with IJM to combat human trafficking. IJM is a global organization that supports the government to protect the most vulnerable from violence. IJM India closely work alongside with state and central government to eradicate two forms of human trafficking: bonded labor system and trafficking of minors, sexual trafficking of minors. We also closely work with government and grassroots NGOs. We rescue, rehabilitate victims of human trafficking, and prosecute the offenders and build the capacity of public justice officials. Human trafficking is a heinous crime. It is the third largest organized crime in the world. It is a serious violation of human rights. In the last 10 years, I assisted law enforcement officials to investigate cases of human trafficking in India, as well as in few other countries. I've been in the places where girls have been sold like a commodities. I've been in the places where families and couples have been auctioned like an animals. I also been in the places where customers were given laser lights to select which girl they wanted to pick for the night. I've been through all these places. I also witnessed a proactive work of the government officials, law enforcement officials in collecting intelligence, identifying these victims of human trafficking, and rescuing them, rehabilitating them, and also prosecuting the offenders. Human trafficking is such a brutal crime, and it incapacitated victims physically, mentally, and psychologically so that they don't reach out to anyone for help. Friends, every year, 2 million people are trafficked, out of which 1.5 million are children. All these innocent and vulnerable people are trafficked to exploit their labor, exploited for this commercial section industries, and also for their organs. We need to end it. IJM strongly believe in a theory of change. Our theory is very simple. End of poverty requires end of violence. End of violence requires end of impunity. End of impunity requires functioning public justice system. IJM working to end violence against poor by rescuing, rehabilitating the victims. We also ending impunity by supporting the government with for the perpetrator accountability. IJM supports the functioning of PGI system through trainings, capacity building, and providing expert consultation to end the crime. There are several events organized, and only few events are considered as a significant event. And I see the launch of the anti-human trafficking in our esteemed institution is one of the significant events in this entire year. Launch of the anti-human trafficking is one of the organized approaches which was dreamed and designed by our own Dr. P.M. Nair sir. That's why I personally call him, the entire institution's call him, he's the father of anti-human trafficking club, because he dreamed about it, he designed a plan and implemented this across the country, also in other countries. And I would like to start by sharing one story about a little boy called Kumar. Friends, I'm using a pseudonym to protect the victim's identity. Mr. Kumar is a little boy. He was tricked and trafficked from Tamil Nadu to Karnataka to work in a confectionery unit. He was promised a good education, a place to stay, food to eat, work in the evening time alone. The trafficker was able to convince the father by saying, your son is just not studying well. I will take him. I will provide tuitions. I will educate him properly so that he will actually learn to become a very good man. But let him help me in the evening time. That is the only word that he told the father, tricked him, paid him a basic advance money, and took the child to Karnataka. When the child reached Karnataka, that's when the point started. He was forced to work for 16 hours a day. He never seen a sunlight, because I personally visited some of this confectionery unit where child been trafficked. There is a floor in the ground floor. All that you need to open a door, you need to climb down inside. It's a complete dark room where they all have all the equipment for making muruku and other confectionery items. And this little boy was forced to work for 16 hours. When he refused to wake up, hot oils being poured on his whole body. And thankfully, he was suffered there for only 3 years. And after IJM was able to find him at railway station in Egmore, we rescued him with the help of RPF police officials. And we were talking to him. The first thing my team is here along in this event. First thing we did is we bought him some food. While he was eating, I still remember the scene very fresh in my mind. He was looking at all of us with the questions, and question conveyed to me that why didn't we stop when he was trafficked? Why it took so long for us to reach him? Why we could have protected him from 16 hours a job? We could have protected him from hot oil being poured on him. We could have protected him from all the violence that was imposed on him. I didn't have any answer. But today, friends, and all the dignitaries, I have an answer. The answer is you and me. We can protect him. We can protect any number of vulnerable victims of human trafficking. And one of the steps that we are taking today is launching of the anti-human trafficking club in our institution. Human trafficking is an organized crime. The organized crime need an organized approaches. I really admire Dr. Nair sir. I listened to a lot of his speech, and every speech he used one word. He said, we need to bring the power of youth together to end human trafficking. And today we are bringing almost 189 youth. I am also considered as youth. All of us are youth officially. And with 189 youth power today, we can end human trafficking. With that, I would like to thank once again for the organizing committee for this opportunity, and thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. We are really moved by your speech. It was a pleasure coordinating with you from the beginning. And as the face of IJM, you have made us feel comfortable to have a collaboration with your organization. Now, this is the most exciting moment which we have been waiting for. Now, our chief guest, Dr. P.M. Nair, retired IPS officer with his immense experience in this field and a true legend in every sense, will now share his thoughts on his journey, which has made a difference in the lives of many. Dr. Nair is an UN recognized expert on human trafficking. He has 40 years of experience in more than 20 fields, which nobody in India has. He has been the key resource person for more than 1,000 training units in India and abroad. He drafted the trafficking bill for the government of India in 2016. He had set up the first 9 anti-human trafficking units in the country in 2007. He had also set up anti-human trafficking clubs in many colleges. Starting with the rescue of 113 children from bonded labor in 1982, his mission against human trafficking continues even after his retirement. Sir, I request you now to share your experience with our students. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Hepzibah. Namaste to all of you. Vanakkam to all of you. My apologies again for being latecomer, which I never do. I at least reach one minute early. Today, I feel very miserable about that. And with that, apologies. I'm so delighted to be part of this great event. First of all, let me start with conveying my greetings and namaste to the 189 youth. That there lies the power. There lies the power of the youth. Imagine 189 youth multiplied by their number of ages. It becomes so many years. That is the power of the youth we have today. And Dr. Devadasa rightly mentioned about the violence part. If you have not read that book, Locus Effect, by a wonderful person by name Gary Hogan, you must read that book. I read that book and fell in love with that man. I never met him, but I made it a point when I went to US for some time. I said, I must meet this guy, and met him. I tell you, amazing book. His heart is on the ground. When I met him, he says, I know you so much. He was talking so much about me. I said, how do you know me? Have you met before? He said, yes, that's what we are. There's a mission, we all know each other. So this wonderful mission of putting people together to end violence. End violence. People sitting here, watching here, you are not violent. That's why you are part of this mission. But everywhere we find so much of violence, so much of violence. Why so much of violence? Imagine the COVID scenario. The child, a small girl child, mother cannot carry her. Mother has a baggage. She made an improvised trolley, made the child sleep on the trolley, and she's dragging that. I'm sure all of you have seen that. And in that night, I just wept and wept at what has befallen the earth. What are we meant for? Why human beings are so criminal, so much violence everywhere. So ladies and gentlemen, if you look around, you know what we are supposed to do. You don't have to make a mandate for all of us. The mandate is right there, right there. I keep saying this principle. If I have a right, the same right should go to the next person also. That is human right. If my daughter is not for sale, your daughter is also not for sale. If my wife cannot be exploited, your wife cannot be exploited. As simple as that. That is human rights. If you ask anybody, ask me what is human rights, I simply say, whatever you give to yourself, give to others else. Whatever is unto yourself, unto others too. That's it. See, if we can take that as a principle of human rights, I think there lies the entire philosophy of Anti-Human Trafficking Club. Ladies and gentlemen, grateful to Dr. Santosh Kumar, Madam Gauri, Madam Hepzibah, Dr. Deva, Dr. Arokyam. I heard you speaking so eloquently on the codes and R2s and P2s. Very nice. You appreciate that you are thinking. And delighted to find the Director of Legal Services government also being here. It's a wonderful opportunity. The very first look of the person itself, we can make out your commitment. Thank you so much, sir, for being part of this mission. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when we think of human trafficking, Dr. Deva rightly started speaking about what it is about. You know, we have seen so many crimes in our scenario. This is not just a crime. It's not just a crime. We have seen rape, violent crime. It's a very serious crime. A woman is not for rape. No woman is for rape, but woman is being raped. Now, if a woman is raped 10 times or 15 times every day, and she's continuously raped for 3 months or 4 months or 3 years, what do you call that? What do you call that? That is trafficking. In a sex trafficking scenario, the girl or woman who is trafficked is continuously being raped day in and out for years and months together. So when we are so serious about rape, why are we not so serious about that continuous rape? That is trafficking. You take the case of a child. I saw a child, around 14 of them, rescued by Childline in the recent past, before the COVID scenario in Chennai. And if you see the child, you will not have your meal for a day, at least for a day. All our children of 11, 12 years age group, Bihar and Odisha children, they are also our children. My child is my child, but neighbor's child is also my child. We have to reconcile that. All children have their fingers, all of us have fingers, but the fingertip is missing. So we may ask why. The fingertip is missing, the nails are missing. I'm talking about Chennai, not outside, right here, right under our doorstep. All the children are being used for cleaning jewels, cleaning silver jewels. Pile, the colis, for cleaning those stuff. For cleaning the material, you need acid. Officially, they are being given gloves. They are using gloves. But try, go home and take the colis of your sister or a mother and try and clean that with the gloves on. And take the gloves out and clean and see with your fingers. There are a lot of modulations in the ornament where the fingers have to go to make it cleaner. So there are gyrations there are holes there. So everywhere finger has to go and make it clean. So when the child is using the finger, the jewel becomes cleaner. So the contractor officially has given a pair of gloves, but at work he said, take it out, and then only it will be clean. So the child is not allowed to use the gloves, so that the material becomes cleaner and faster. And in that process, the child is digging his fingers in the acid and clean the jewels. Now, you try and dig your fingers in acid for some time and you see what happens. They start wilting, and finally the nails are gone. Now, the sad part is, the story doesn't end here. Childline rescued them and produced them before the Child Welfare Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, you are all learning law, youngsters. You will know what Child Welfare Committee is. Child Welfare Committee under the Juvenile Justice Act is the authority where rescued children shall be produced. So that's a magisterial power they have. They have the authority. They have the law with them. We expect them to enforce the law. We expect the rule of law from them. And the Child Welfare Committee members, 2 or 3 of them sitting there, and they were, of course, started talking to the child. He was not able to talk Tamil, so a translator came. Some questions were asked of the child, and the one lady comes and started weeping. I am the owner of the factory, madam, telling the Child Welfare Committee, and I take responsibility for this child. I will ensure that the child is taken care of. Poor chap, he has got pavam, the nails are gone. We will take care of it. And she started weeping. The Child Welfare Committee says, all right, this lady will take care. She says she's a mother's relative. So we are giving the child to the mother's relative. Who is the mother's relative? The same person who has violated her. The same person, her husband is running the factory there. Her husband is running the jewel factory. The wife takes away now. What for? To be exploited further. So all of us are silent spectators. I would say all of us are party to the crime by our conspiracy of silence. Conspiracy of silence. So we have to break this silence. We have to break this silence. There is no way. We cannot allow our children to go like this. We cannot allow our women to be violated. They are not sex materials. No child is a prostitute. Child is always a prostituted child. No child is a prostitute. She has been prostituted child. No child is a child labor. We have made the child a child labor. Child wants to study. You ask any child, he or she wants to study. We are depriving the child of its childhood. We are depriving the child of its freedom. We are depriving the child of its dignity and making the child work. If any child is working everywhere, you must remember the father or the mother who sent the child the contractor who bought the child, the proprietor who was making the child work, all of the collusive corruption, the collusive criminals, all are part of the crime. Therefore, we need to break our silence and get into this action mode. Very happy that the youth power is the best power in the country or the world, I would say, and this youth power can make a difference. As Madam Hepzibah said, 40 years I've been fighting human trafficking. I started my first fight in 1982 when I was young SP of a district. You know, SP, police, Suvarna police, SP of a district. I rescued 27 children, boys, all from child labor, who were not only physically assaulted in labor, but also sexually assaulted. They were having oral sex and anal sex with the child. The child was in tatters and broken child, devastated child. And then I found the life of the child, how difficult it is in child labor, where there is sexual exploitation, labor exploitation, all sorts of exploitation. Not only exploitation, but it's a violation of the dignity of the person, violation of the rights of the person, violation of all crimes are there. I call it as a basket of crime. You take any human trafficking, the man has been purchased or the child has been purchased, the child has been sold, you know, like commodity. I can go and buy a cell phone. So I am a customer. You buy from me, you are a customer. Can a person be done like that? Can a person be a commodity? But we are making the child a commodity. We are making the person a commodity. We should stop this. No human being is for sale. No child is for sale. This commoditization of human being, that is ultimate crime. I call it a basket of crime. In the human trafficking, you have a buying, selling, you have rape, you have bondage, you have deprivation of human rights, you have confinement, you have abduction. All this together constitute human trafficking. Therefore, it is a basket of crimes. It is not a simple crime. It's a continuing crime. It's an organized crime. It's a basket of crimes. So this basket of crime is something which should concern all of us. Now, the question is, why should it concern all of us? Somebody can turn around and ask me, sir, you are talking so much eloquently, but why should I be bothered? I am not doing anything. I don't violate anybody's rights. Fair enough. Fair enough. But what is happening on next door? Now, another point is, we have a mandate. All of us in this mission today, 189, all of us in this mission have a mandate. You know what is the mandate? We have a Constitution of India. The Constitution of India, what is Constitution of India? The first line says, the preamble says, we the people of India. Last line says, gave to ourselves. So if I am a bus conductor, I am also part of that, we the people of India. If I am a professor, I am also part of that. If I am a student, I am also part of that. So we, the people of India, is constituted by all of us, all of us. So we gave to ourselves. Nobody gave to ourselves. American did not give us. Dr. Ambedkar, luminaries like Dr. Ambedkar and his team gave this mandate. They wrote the mandate and we adopted. We adopted. We, the people of India, adopted. And we, the people of India, gave to ourselves a mandate called the Constitution. In that Constitution, we have written under Article 23 that trafficking, human trafficking in every form is prohibited. When Dr. Ambedkar, an eminent person like Dr. Ambedkar, he is worshipped as a god. When he made a Constitution of India, he did not put drug trafficking there. He did not put arms trafficking there. But he made it a point to put human trafficking in there, Article 23. What was the reason? Imagine, that is very important. No, arms can go to hell, drug can go to hell. They are all equally important. Today, I find arms have been taken away, drugs have been taken away. Human trafficking is the largest organized crime in the world. At least in the Asian context, that is 100% true. They have been all replaced by human trafficking. It's a huge money. So here, under Article 23 of the Constitution, we have given a mandate to ourselves. We, the people of India, gave a mandate to ourselves that there shall be no trafficking. So, if I am a child of 12 years and living in Meenambakam, or I am a woman of 23 years living in Erode, my neighbor has a constitutional right to ensure that I am not trafficked. You may be a bus conductor, you may be a professor, you may be a teacher, you may be a mechanic, you may be an ordinary mason, you may be a sweeper, whatever you are. You have a constitutional right that I am not trafficked. I have a constitutional duty not to be trafficked. Therefore, every child, every person, every woman has a constitutional right not to be trafficked. And as a corollary, all of us here have a constitutional duty to ensure that nobody is trafficked. Let us take that constitutional mandate forward. Ladies and gentlemen, Anti-Human Trafficking Club goes by that constitutional mandate that I will ensure that my neighbor is safe. I will ensure that our children are safe. I will ensure that no girl is for sale. I will ensure that no person is for sale. This is a mandate we have put to ourselves. Now, how do we constitute a club? The idea started in 2014 when law students in a nearby state, Kerala, I was addressing them. I was talking to them on law. In fact, I was teaching the law, ITPA. I was taking a session on law. If your Madam Director wants me, Madam Director is there, no? Madam
Yes.
Gauri is there? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Madam wants me, I'll take a session on law also. I won't mind.
You are welcome. You are always welcome.
Not only the text of the law, it will be text to context. I always do that. Yesterday I had a class in the National University, National NUJS Kolkata. So it's only a text, not the text of the law. Text anybody can read. I would say text to context. Text to context. Well, when I was doing this class in Ernakulam, all of them got to that. That's a youth power. They said, sir, you have made us all charged. Now what do we do? I said, you have a dramatics club. You enjoy. You have fun there. You enjoy, and the others enjoy. Yes. You have a tennis club. You have your body building and your mind. All these are there. Yes. You have a fancy club. Yes. So that's all fun. Good to have a club. But why don't we start a club? So we have a social service club. Yes. Social service is giving some service to others. Fair enough. But I'm talking very specifically a constitutional mandate. Would you like to have that? Yes, sir. Why not? So the young youth of Ernakulam Law College got together and made an anti-human trafficking club in 2014. Then it got on to various states. IGM has very kindly set up in Tamil Nadu. Now 100 clubs are being set up by Christ University in Karnataka, and 100 clubs are being set up by the Anti-Human Trafficking Network in Bihar. 50 clubs are being set up by IGM and the team in Kerala. 50 clubs are being set up by IGM and team in Telangana, Andhra Pradesh tomorrow. So all these are happening. So if this mission, this law college of yours is, I would consider us as a beginner. You are not a college by itself. You have a networking here, wherever you have networking, establish anti-human trafficking club in all these colleges. IGM is a wonderful partner to work with. I told you about their top boss down the line, everywhere there. You have a Madam Hepsiba here, you have a Dr. Deva here, such sparks that they represent the youth, the real youth of the country. So I find so enchanted with working with them. Wherever they say, sir, Ajao, please come, I'm there. No questions asked. When he said there is a college there, you have to go. I said, why not? He said, you didn't ask which college. I said, I don't have to ask you. You say go, I'll go. That, as simple as that. So ladies and gentlemen, Anti-Human Trafficking Club is very simple. Let us not think that we have to do so many things. You don't have to do so many things. We have to do small things. I think Professor Arokim spoke about R2 and P2. I would say, let's keep the major activities for later date. First of all, let us work on the prevention part. What is prevention? Let us see a labor camp. In a labor camp, if there are children, go and talk to the labor person there, the contractor there. Anna, Jata, these children are entitled for education. Can you send them to your nearby school? Can you facilitate their studies or organize a crush here, organize a camp there? Like that, you start with the small things. Another interesting thing is, the child pornography. You all know what child pornography is about. Are you aware? In the latest survey says 80% increase of people watching child pornography in the last 2 months. 80% increase. Who is watching? People like you and me. If I am not watching, my neighbor is watching, my uncle is watching, my chittappa is watching, my mother-in-law is watching. How can they watch? If all of us take a decision that I shall not watch child pornography, and I'll ensure that my teacher does not watch, my uncle does not watch, my brother does not watch, my cousin does not watch, then all the world stops watching child pornography. The child pornographers have to lock the shop. Means exploitation of child will stop. Or every child pornography means a child is exploited. It's a demand. The demand is the main thing. So ladies and gentlemen, let's start with the demand part. All of us take a decision that we shall not contribute to demand. That itself is a very big public awareness. Maybe child labor, maybe sexual exploitation, whatever area you think of. Your youth has so much ideas and brilliant ideas you have. You can start off with the small things. Don't have to make too much of complication. Start with small things. Like labor camp I mentioned, like pornography issues I mentioned. So you start with such public awareness program that itself can make a big difference. And small awareness is very important. Like you are seeing the laborers going now. I don't know how many of you are aware. Under the Indian law, if a labor in Erode is from Odisha and labor has lost his job because of COVID or whatever reason, he has to go back. Are you aware the contractor and the proprietor are responsible under the Indian law to send them back? They have to give them travel costs. Under the law, which law? Interstate Migrant Workmen Act 1979. That act, Interstate Migrant Workmen Act 1979, there's a specific section that for every labor for coming to the area of work and for going back, the contractor shall pay the required travel costs. The required travel costs. If it is required to go by flight, you better give. And it also says that if the contractor does not give, the proprietor will give. Proprietor could be government or private also. How many of us are aware of that? How many of us are aware of that? When I spoke to the Erode inspector, I told him, boss, implement that. Catch the contractor by the tail and tell him pay money. He do that. 1 or 2 inspectors we can do. So if all of us get together, that awareness can create so much of ripples in the society. I am sure it will make a very good day where we will ensure that our women are safe, our children are safe, and we will ensure that the rule of law comes in. It's ensuring rule of law. You're all law students, so it's law by itself is not enough. Law has to be enforced. The rule of law. And it means good governance. It means good society. It means society where all are equal and we take it forward. If any questions are there, I am ready to answer. I think whatever points I could firstly think of, I have mentioned here. But ladies and gentlemen, last but not the least, people who are trafficked for sex or labor, 90% of them. My research, I did the research for National Human Rights Commission, not as a police officer, but as a social. I had my PhD in sociology. Therefore, I went. They asked me to join Justice Verma and Justice Sujata Manohar. 2 years I worked with them as an ordinary researcher, kurta pajama, going around all the places. 89% of the traffic victims are from the scheduled caste, from the OBC, from backward section society, from transgender. So we are talking about the deprived sections. We are talking about the vulnerable people. I'm very happy that Madam Hepzibah and Dr. They have also used this word, and Dr. Arogyam also. We are talking about the vulnerable persons. So on the one side, we work for them, and the other side, we work for stopping demand. Thank you so much. Namaste. Jai Hind. Vanakkam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We were actually holding back our tears with great difficulty. So I'm sure the students would have been truly inspired by your experience. We only have 2 choices, sir. Do nothing or do something. So if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. We have such a leader as the Director of Legal Studies. So now I request our respected Director, Professor Dr. N.S. Santosh Kumar, to inaugurate the Anti-Human Trafficking Club at Chennai Dr. Ambedkar Government Law College, Pudupakkam.
Thank you,
Hepzibah. If I interview,
ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to one and all.
Before doctor comes in, can I do that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, I'm apologies for half a second for
no problem. You take your own time. We are here to hear you alone.
Yes.
30 seconds for your attention, sir.
No problem.
This anti-human trafficking club, when we started in Kerala, there was a wonderful lady, secretary to the education there, director education Kerala. She got so enchanted. She said, "What can I do?" I said, "Madam, you issue an order that anti-human trafficking clubs shall be set up in all colleges." So I am the head of education department. So all education colleges and all law colleges in Kerala, they issued a GO, shall set up anti-human trafficking clubs, just for information. Thank you.
But Dr. Nair, sir, even without telling, I thought to tell you during my talk.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Here, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to one and all. And it gives me immense pleasure to inaugurate this Anti-Human Trafficking Club at Chennai Dr. Ambedkar Government Law College, Pudupakkam, which is performing excellently well in legal studies as well as the other socio-legal activities also. Adding yet another feather to the crown, in this auspicious day, the college has decided to have Anti-Human Trafficking Club in order to safeguard the interest of the people who are forced to involve in some anti-socio-legal activities. I really appreciate the principal, Dr. Gauri Ramesh, and her dedicated faculty members for choosing this area of concentration, which is a need of the hour. I once again appreciate the principal for selecting International Justice Mission head, Dr. P.M. Nair, and others. They are all right persons to guide us, as in the sense, not only this college, the total department as a whole, for eradicating this menace from the society. People who are with us in this webinar event are the real person who involved in this issue directly, that too for long years. Actually speaking, Dr. P.M. Nair, the head of the International Justice Mission, a dedicated personality who is having vast experience in this track, is a suitable person to advise our students and our department. We all must appreciate Dr. Nair for his full-time devotion to eradicate this menace completely from our society, for which it is a bounden duty of every citizen to cooperate and join hand with him. The students, you should be the first among all in this regard. Like that, Dr. Davis is also second to none in this matter. He is devoting his entire life for this by conducting many events. His dedicated involvement in this, the entire episode is to unite people and to wipe out this awkward offense from the society, has to be really appreciated. Like that, one Mr. Richard Ebenezer, the partner is full coordinator of so many events of International Justice Mission. My beloved friend and of course my good student of law, who no doubt he was a very good student at the time of his studying days. He was thinking differently. We all the faculty members used to say that Richard Ebenezer is always thinking differently, and he will definitely be associated with different activities which are very important for the society, wherein he will definitely be associated. Like that we thought at the time. As we thought, he has now joined with the International Justice Mission and he is doing things in a different way. That's like, I'm telling you, after hearing Dr. P.M. Nair, I am of the opinion that it is the Pudupakkam College has taken a right decision at this juncture, I can say. The reality is, it is very, very, very important to start this type of club in all the colleges. Even before telling Dr. Nair, I was at the time of hearing his views, I have already made up my mind to invite him to our department and invite him to all the colleges. And if not other colleges are coming, our law college should be the front runner to march behind him to eradicate this nasty crime in the society. For which, sir, I assure you now, as a head of the department of this legal department, the entire law college will definitely march behind you. And I invite you to all the colleges and to start these type of clubs, and by which we all unite together. That is just back to you, and we will see the good result when days to come. Dear ladies and gentlemen, you all know about this dark offense wherein innocent people are being affected. Human trafficking is a process of trapping people through the use of violence, deception, and corruption, and exploiting them for financial and personal gain. Actually speaking, you all know that the people can be trafficked and exploited in many forms, including being forced to sexual exploitation, labor, begging, crime, domestic servitude, marriage, or even organ removal also. Ladies and gentlemen, I happen to read statistics on this issue. I actually speak, I astonished to see those statistics. And what I could do was extraordinary silent I just performed on hearing, on seeing the statistics. And I become speechless. And thereafter, I just prayed to Almighty to save the people. Only that much I could do. See, being an head of this very big department with more than 12,000 students force, and we have very eloquent faculty members, and we have very dynamic people. We are unable to do anything at all. On seeing Dr. P.M. Nair like a person, on seeing Mr. Devasiam like a person, on seeing Richard Ebenezer type of persons, we feel shame that we are not doing anything for eradicating this type of menace from the society. My dear gentlemen, it is the right time to see that, or everyone should read the outcome of this particular human trafficking effect in the society. I read that there are regional differences in the sex and age profiles of detected trafficking victims. In West Asia, most of the detected victims are children, both boys and girls. While in South of Asia, victims are generally reported to be men, women, and
There is a technical issue, I think so, with the sir.
Technical issue. Voice is breaking.
adult men are detected, combat or in this human trafficking. See, for the purpose also differ from region to region. That statistics says. Trafficking for forced marriage is more commonly detected in parts of Southeast Asia, while trafficking of children for illegal adoption is also recorded in Central and South American countries. Trafficking for sex is mainly reported in Western and Southern Europe, while trafficking for organ removal is primarily detected in North Africa, Central and Southeastern Europe, and Eastern Europe also. Many other forms of such trafficking for exploitation, for begging, and even for production of pornographic materials, these are going on in a very, very loud way. Another statistics says women and girls trafficked, out of which 83% for sexual exploitation, 13% for forced labor, 4% for other purposes. Among men trafficked, 30% for forced labor, 62% for sexual exploitation, 1% for trafficking for organ removal, 7% for some other purpose. Among girls trafficked, 72% for sexual exploitation, 21% for forced labor, 7% for trafficking for other purposes. Among boys trafficked, 27% for sexual exploitation, 50% for forced labor, 23% for other purposes. See how the statistics says we are unable to bear it at all. Everywhere sexual exploitation, everywhere bonded labor system, everywhere for taking pornography and other things, child labor abuse, everywhere through this trafficking. See, what shall we do? See, altogether, if you see, from the total population trafficked, 59% for sexual exploitation, 33% for forced labor, 1% for organ removal, and 7% for other purposes. See, heartening, no doubt at all. You all may be knowing that these methods are through the trafficking taken place or majority through this cyberspace only and use of these social media networks only. So what I'm telling you is, it is easy mode for them to exploit these poor, pathetic people, to make them involve all these type of heinous crimes. See, now, ladies and gentlemen, the ball is in your court. As you are the people in the field of law, you can do well these preventive and eradicative steps. As our learned professor rightly pointed out, 2 P's and 2 R's. It is a need of the it is our duty to eradicate at the earliest through these type of forming clubs and stand united and to do so many things for eradicating this menace. And with the help of these experts, I'm sure that we can win in this mission, for which you should concentrate so many different areas. That also I can tell you. I've stated all these things, this type of statistics and other things. It is not meant for the faculty members or for the members of this justice mission. But at the same time, I just quoted here to enlighten our beloved students who are in the line, in the webinar line, to know about what are the social evils which are going on in this way. See, you must definitely concentrate in raising awareness about human trafficking and informing about the risk and consequences of the work abroad. Second is create awareness among the victims of trafficking of their human rights and to empower them through programs. Nextly, to undertake sensitization and conduct different training programs for non-profits organization, the international and national and the non-governmental organization, and even the student community also for eradicating this anti-social and anti-trafficking crime. And you must without fail, you join together and to do and undertake some research also in this area and provide maximum consultation to the appropriate authorities to eradicate this mission. And all the best, students, and I congratulate the principal and the faculty members and thank you experts in this field, and especially Dr. Nair and their company for taking voluntary efforts to come to our legal institutions and offered all the law colleges to come for eradicating this mission. Now, I formally declare open this anti-trafficking club of Chennai Dr. Ambedkar Government Law College, Pudupakkam. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir, for inspiring us to raise the bar with each passing day and to excel. This will be our logo for Anti-Human Trafficking Club. And now we move on to the question and answer session, but due to paucity of time, we'll have 5 to 6 students alone who will be questioning or raising the questions to our chief guest, Dr. Nair, sir. First, I would like to unmute Ms. Phoebe.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, Ma, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, sir. My name is Phoebe. I'm stepping into the final year. I would like to know how effectively I can utilize this 1 year to gain more knowledge on the subject of human trafficking.
We can use 1 year time for gaining knowledge. Join the club and start working on the club. It's a walk the talk and walk the. We believe in working the talk. Means knowledge comes when you are involved in the mission. So your 5, 6 students get together and work on the club. Go to a labor camp and see what's happening there. Go to a place of exploitation, sexual exploitation nearby. Of course, COVID time you cannot go. But COVID time, what you can do is, you youngsters must be so good in internet. Take out a small snippet on a WhatsApp message. Are you being abused? You know what abuse means. You know what a bad touch means. You know what a good touch means. Like that small message you pass on, make it nicely attractive. You can't pass on to students in the other schools, but you can make a smart message and give it to your principal. Tell your principal, madam, would you mind sending it to all the students? What is a good touch? What is a bad touch? Are you facing any online sexual exploitation? Are you facing any online problems during the COVID time? This sort of internet-oriented, short, nice messages, but don't create any complication there. In the sense, name of person, etc., you should avoid. And then this making people aware, since you are all confined homes now, Internet is a medium where you can think of sending good messages.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
I request Sonia from 4th year. She wants to ask you a question. Sonia?
Hello.
Yes, Mai, go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Sonia. I'm entering final year now. Apart from the events, activities, and awareness campaigns, will we be allowed to watch social workers and authorities handle such issues, like a short-term internship? Are there any restrictions, sir?
No, ma, you can go as intern to wonderful agencies working on this. IGM, for example, is one. I'm sure they'll be flooded with a lot of requests. So they have to be selective. They can take everybody there. That's one. Now, CWC, Child Welfare Committee in that area. It's a government body. It's a legal body. They also take interns. So like that, the agencies who are working with this, you can go to the anti-human trafficking unit of the police, anti-human trafficking unit. All districts have got a AHCU. Connect to the person. That person may not be aware as to what they can do. We can guide them. Anti-human trafficking clubs are task force in the police. In all the districts in Tamil Nadu, they have one. In fact, I was privileged to set up a AHCU in 2007. First AHCU, 9 AHCUs. Now it is there in every district. So you can intern with them. You will see how you can understand, how you can learn yourself. And in that process, make them also aware. The policeman, head constable or sub-inspector may not know, there is another dimension to that. So your intervention, you are walking the talk and walking the talk with them, with that person, will enlighten the person also. And that's the way you can bring up a very good convergence and take it forward.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I will request Diksha, first year student, Diksha.
Yes, ma'am. My warm greetings, sir. It was indeed a thought-provoking session. My question is, I read quite a few articles and blogs. So if I write articles and blogs on human trafficking, will it create any awareness?
Absolutely. That question is got the answer too. Please do that. Please bring out your voice. I told you, youth voice is always heard, ma. Your voice will go. It will have ripples. Like a ocean. You put a pond. You put a small stone.
Sure.
Don't have to lay a big stone. You put a small stone and watch the ripples. Goes on and on and on, isn't it? So you can make big ripples in that. Go ahead.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Next, I request Harish from the 2nd year to ask the question. Harish. Harish. Okay, Harish is not the Yuvaraj from the 4th year.
Yes,
hello, sir.
Harish.
Yes, Harish. Please go ahead, Harish.
So I'm very happy that we are having a HTC club in our college. So can we start our own clubs back in the area or village? Where do we come from? As most of us are from rural areas.
Why not? In fact, your AHC club here in the college itself can work in the village. Wherever you are coming from, you can, I'm sure the teacher will permit that. And let the COVID scenario be over. Start up a small public awareness program in your village. You have the panchayat people there. You have village leaders there, village sarpanch and all those people are there. Get them over for a small meeting there. 5-6 students from your college go there. Tell them what is trafficking. Tell them understand the dimensions of trafficking. Missing children. Many missing children are being trafficked. So how many children are missing? Take care of that. How many children are being rescued? That part you can do. So many activities you can do. If you want to work in the village, please go ahead. It'll be really good. Don't have to start a club there. Same club can function as an extension in that place.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I request Yuvaraj.
Hello, sir. Sir, I'm a 3rd year student. We participate in many moot court debates, youth parliament, elocution competitions. So if we keep this particular issue as a subject matter in these competitions in future, will it make the students more aware of such crimes in the days to come?
Very good question, ma. Very good question. Please go ahead. In the moot, we can have not only a moot, but a mock scenario also. A trafficking scenario and an anti-trafficking scenario. A trafficking scenario where the policeman rescues a girl, violates her, lifts her frock and abuses her, abusive language, etc. Another scenario where a policeman respects her, a trained police officer, Anti-Human Trafficking Club intervenes to train the police. Anti-Human Trafficking Club intervenes to converse with the police and make them sensitized, and a good policeman comes in. So how the Anti-Human Trafficking Club could make a difference even with a police officer. So like that, you can envisage a lot many scenarios and start so many role play you can start. All these activities you can start part of your, and an extension of your moot court or moot club or whatever you think. You can take it forward through the AHT club.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have one last question from the student, Balaji, first year. Balaji, yes, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Balaji. I am completing my first year in this college. Now I would also like to become a champion like you and inspire many. What are the baby steps I need to take in this field?
The first thing is that you have decided to become a champion. You are a champion. You don't have to become. You are. The champion is within you. You know, Michelangelo was once asked, Michelangelo was once asked, how do you make such beautiful sculptures? Beautiful sculptures, amazing. You can't do it. How do you make that? Michelangelo simply said, the sculpture is within. I'm only trying to chisel it out. The sculpture is already there. I'm only trying to chisel it out. So the leader lies within you. You have to just refine that. And people like Dr. Devasiddham and Madam Hepzibah are trying to ignite the whole thing to come out. It's like lighting a lamp. You have a valaka, you have a thiri, you have a enna, you have a matchbox, you have the lamp, everything. You have to just light it, ignite it. Light comes in. Everything is around there. Just that ignition part is missing. So the ignition is within you. Take the ignition forward. You have such wonderful teachers, wonderful, your professor, your teachers, wonderful. I was so happy to see them in the talking and presenting. You have such a wonderful scenario. So Anti-Human Trafficking Club needs a person like you, a mentor in a teacher, a mentor in an NGO, IJM, and eventually a mentor in a police officer. So all these four mentors will be there. You are the functionary.
Sure,
Try and associate a local police officer eventually, so that any law enforcement comes, you can talk to him or talk to her or talk to him and take it forward. That's how we link it up. Take it forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have one question from our faculty. Madam Kritika, she wants to interact with you.
Good afternoon, sir. Foremost, we should thank sir for enlightening all of us with the practical aspect of the subject, sir. And my question is, I'm very sure that the role of the anti-human trafficking volunteer does not end with rescuing the victims. So I want to know, what is the role of the volunteers in the stage of post-rescuing?
Madam, as I mentioned,
yes,
if you see internationally, there are three important aspects in human trafficking response. PPP they call prevention, protection, prosecution. Also mentioned P2, R2. Actually, it's all part of that only. Prevention means no many activities are there.
Balaji.
Then protection means.
Someone is on.
No problem. Protection means rescue, rehab. So, I'm able to hear?
Yes, sir. Yes,
so one is prevention. Second is protection, means rescue, post-rescue care, restoration, rehabilitation, reintegration. So many activities are going to come. Then the prosecution means the law enforcement, investigation, detection, prosecution, conviction, post-conviction. So many activities are. It's a complex world. So don't get into all of them. What you should do is you should start with the small things. As I mentioned earlier, let your students get into the initial part, making public awareness and prevention part. That is very easy. Once you want to work on rescue, means after a little bit of maturity comes in, 1 year work comes in, then associate with an NGO, IJM for example, Childline for example. There are Childlines there. Associate Childline for rescue. And in that case, you go along with the Childline. Let the students and the community go behind the Childline. Childline volunteers are trained for that. You stand behind them, associate with them. And initially, don't try and see that the name of the students do not come as a witness. If you go to the police or rescue, they will say, sign pannunga sir, witness that they will say. Avoid being a witness in a court of law for the time being. Let them gain the strength and knowledge and be on their own. Then they can witness, etc. As regards post-rescue care attention, when you go to child line, that itself is a very important step. Telling the child line what the child says. The child line member may not be aware as to what the child is speaking. Maybe because of language, maybe because the child line has no time to listen to the person. So a rescued child, when your students are talking to the child, get so much information about what happened to the child. Maybe the father must be the seller. The father must have sold the child. Therefore, the child cannot be sent back home. So this message, Child Welfare Committee may not get. So if the Anti-Human Trafficking Club goes along with the child line, with the child to the CWC, post-rescue activity, telling the Child Welfare Committee member or the presiding officer, madam or sir, this child shall not be sent back home. The father is a seller, the abuser. Then they will get ideas. Oh my God, what do we do? All right, lodge in a home. So child can be lodged in a home in Tamil Nadu or maybe in Odisha, wherever the child comes from, and not send the child back home because child cannot be re-trafficked. So this sort of a post-rescue small activities they can do. World is large. Afterwards, you can network with the corporate agencies, do a rehabilitation part, telling the corporate to support their rehabilitation, education or employment, etc. That is actually a step by step. I would actually start the AHCC now with with awareness program, then go step later. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We will wrap up with this last question. What kind of experience and guidance do we need to create awareness about this anti-trafficking? From a fourth-year student, Lieben.
First and foremost, you have to spare your heart and mind. Second is that the will that you have in abundance, and nothing else you require. You don't require anything else. As Dr. Santosh Kumar said, if you want, you can. The road is open. How do we make a road when there is no road? There is no road there. How do you make a road? You start walking. I'll follow you. Somebody else will follow you. The 10 people walk, that becomes a road, isn't it? So roads are always made by walking. Start walking, the road will be made. We just move on, and we have discussed so much about what can be done. I'm sure this is more than enough for you to guide you and take it forward. You start walking and the word will come. Incidentally, if you have any questions or any doubts on what we can do, it will come eventually. I'm sure Dr. Devasudha and Madam Hepsiba will provide some sort of WhatsApp group. We can make a WhatsApp group, and you raise your questions at some point of time, and we will be there to answer your questions all the time, mentor you, help you. And it's not that I am a Vidwan or an expert or something. I'm also a humble worker like you. I'll be walking behind you and walking along with you. Walking with you and walking along with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. A special thanks to respected Dr. P.M. Nair, sir, for patiently replying to all the questions and clearing our doubts. It was worth the wait, sir. Thank you so much. We are waiting to meet you soon in our Pudupakam premises. I now request Mr. Nazir Hussain
I think Dr.
to propose the vote of
wanted to say
thanks.
something.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think Dr. Santosh Kumar probably wanted to say something else.
You have to unmute. Sir, you can unmute yourself, sir. You're in mute, sir. Yes.
Madam?
Yes, sir.
There is an appeal to our beloved principal, Dr.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Let me congratulate you for starting this anti-human trafficking club, no doubt. But where your duty is not ending here with.
Yes, sir.
It is a just beginning. Once you hear Dr. P.M. Nair, we will not sit quietly. And the extent he has changed all of our mind towards this anti-human trafficking, isn't it?
Yes,
for which
yes, sir.
Either you start a webinar group for a basic orientation, number one, for which you can make use of Devasiddham, Dr. Richard and Dr. P.M. Nair also for that. First of all, our students should understand what exactly it is, and they should know about what are the activities where they can get into inside of that particular event, and how to do things in the future also, because our students are concerned because of having their basic legal knowledge. They may simply go and enter inside and they will become a party to that. Instead of that, they should assist the people, cooperate the people, for which they need good orientation. So either you do it through webinar, or after the normalcy is returned, you should have a very good orientation program in our campus itself. And accordingly, we will see that the mission should definitely be achieved in the days.
Definitely, definitely, sir. Definitely, sir. I give you my word for that, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now I request Mr. Nazir Hussain, fourth-year student, to propose the vote of thanks.
Respected Professor Dr. N.S. Santosh Kumar, sir, the Director of Legal Studies. Respected Dr. P.M. Nair, sir, former Director General of the National Disaster Response Force and Civil Defense Government of India. Respected Dr. Devasitam, sir, Associate Director of the International Justice Mission. Respected Principal, Professor Dr. Gauri Ramesh, Madam, our dear professors, distinguished guests, and my dear friends. It is indeed my sincere privilege in proposing the vote of thanks on behalf of Chennai Dr. Ambedkar Government Law College, Pudupakam, for this landmark event. And I really feel proud and happy that this wonderful event took place while I'm still a student, and I could cherish this moment throughout my lifetime. And first and foremost, I would like to express our deep sense of gratitude to the Honorable Director of Legal Studies, Professor Dr. N.S. Santosh Kumar, sir, for giving us this wonderful opportunity to inaugurate the Anti-Human Trafficking Club in the august presence of distinguished personalities. Sir, you have always been a pillar of guidance and support for any new initiative in our college. And we assure you, sir, that we will definitely try to live up to your expectations. Thank you so much, sir. And we are grateful and thankful to Dr. P.M. Nair, sir, for having very graciously accepted our invitation and for his kind words of wisdom and motivation, and above all for sparing his most precious time with us in answering all our queries. And we assure you, sir, that we will follow your footsteps in bringing about a change in the society that we live in. Thank you so much, sir. And on behalf of the students of our college, I wholeheartedly thank Dr. Devasitam, sir, for agreeing to enter into a collaboration with our institution and for giving us an opportunity to learn from an esteemed institution like that of the International Justice Mission. Thank you once again, sir. And I would be failing in my duty if I do not thank our respected and beloved principal, Professor Dr. Gauri Ramesh, Madam, but for whom this day would not have come into reality. The seed for this inaugural function, online inaugural function, was sown by Madam when she had proved that the technology is just a child's play to the students and faculty of our law colleges by starting the online classes. And then the next step was when we ventured into the online webinar, national level webinar. And now this event has once again proved that any challenging times will not stop Chennai Dr. Ambedkar Government Law College, Pudupakam, from scaling greater heights. And this shows our undaunted desire to bring about a revolution in the legal education. And we are wholeheartedly thankful and grateful to our beloved principal for all her painstaking efforts in providing the best and for the welfare of the student fraternity as a whole. Thank you so much, Madam. And I take this time to thank our dear Professor Arogyam, sir, for his introductory remarks and enlightening us on the topic in the simplest way possible. And our dear Professor Hepzibah, Madam, for coordinating with the International Justice Mission and arranging for this very grand event. And I take this time to thank our respected professors, Professor Rekha, Madam, Professor Kritika, Madam, Professor Vijayshri, Madam, and Professor Shyam, sir, for all their efforts for the welfare of the students and coordinating this very grand event. And I also take this time to thank all the respected principals and faculty of all the government law colleges across Tamil Nadu for very graciously accepting our invitation and participating in this event and taking your time out in being here and making this event a very grand success. Thank you all. And I take the pleasure of thanking you all once again. And I thank our respected director and principal for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much for this wonderful vote of thanks. I now request everyone to rise up for the national anthem.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे